did any of you all see the Alex Hormozy book launch event? No? Okay. So I'm going to give you, it was a 1 hour and 20 minutes. It was an hour and 20-minute launch event. I boiled it down to 4 minutes. And what I wanted to show you is just going to blow your mind, because what he did in one fell swoop, Alex Hormozy, I'll tell you who he is in a minute, but in one fell swoop, what Alex Hormozy did is he completely changed the world of book marketing as we know it. Okay, so Alex Hormozy, long story short, I kind of consider him the sort of like the kind of new ripped bearded version of Gary Vaynerchuk. He's sort of like the new brash, in your face guy who's talking about marketing and all that kind of stuff. And he kind of came up in the gym world. He started his own gym. He built a chain of gyms, and he filled it out to membership capacity. And then he started teaching his methods and helping other gyms get their gyms to capacity. And now he's an investor, multimillionaire. He owns a bunch of companies, and he likes to teach his methods to other companies so that he can get to a point where he can then acquire them and run them as part of his portfolio. So here's the video. So what he did in August of last year is he launched his second book called $100 Million Leads. And it was a major launch event. I mean, thousands of people showed up, as you can see from the wall in the background. These are people on his Zoom webinar thing. And let's just get into the video. So what I'm going to talk about, what he's going to talk about here is he's going to basically introduce this teaching session that he's going to do, where he's going to actually teach some of the methods that he is talking about in his book.
So here's my promise to you guys today. I can show you how to get strangers to want to buy your stuff. And I want to be clear, the lead getting strategies I share with you today work for real estate, medical, auto, homeowners, insurance, healthcare, local businesses, home services, financial services, consumer services, software, apps, e-learning, online businesses, e-commerce, and anything that sells stuff to anyone. And I know they work because I use them in our portfolio companies today, which include software, local business, e-commerce, consumer services, medical services, professional services, home services, and more. So here's what I know.
Okay.
Even if we had
So that was the introduction. What he did for the next 45 minutes, essentially, just to boil down what he did, was basically it was like a free course. You know, he was teaching how to implement some of these 4 advertising methods that he talks about. But at the end of his teaching, then he launches into this sales pitch. And you kind of get this funny feeling in your stomach when you're attending one of these webinars, and then all of a sudden you kind of get this sort of foreboding feeling, oh, the sales pitch is coming on. And I'm sure you all are going to feel that same feeling during this section of it.
Get a full day together instead of just 90 minutes. It's going to be hard, almost impossible for me to give you all that I could give you. No matter how good anyone is, one 90-minute presentation isn't going to change your life. You need more than that. And while everything I've given you today is valuable, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And if you like what I've shared with you so far, you'll love what I have for you next. You see, before today, I was faced with one of 2 choices. The first option was to part ways with you and then just hope that you on your own would figure it out. My second option was I could take a more active role and responsibility for your success and create a win-win situation. I chose the second option. The result of working 6 hours a day for 2 years, everything I know about generating 100 million plus a year in sales, everything I know about getting leads from a decade of advertising. And so it's with great pleasure to introduce you to the $100 million lead system.
So he goes into all this fanfare about his book. So this is his book, and then the $100 million lead system.
With this system, you will wield all 8 methods as a master of advertising, getting leads on command at prices your competition would drool over. So here's what you guys are going to get. This is about to get bananas, so just buckle up. That's my warning. That's my disclaimer before we rock and roll here, which is why I think it's
okay. So I skipped a whole bunch because he kind of goes over all these modules, but then this is where it gets really interesting. He kind of summarizes all the modules and the value.
Valued at $1,797. All right, so you're going to get lead magnet mastery. You're going to get the first 5 client framework. You're going to get the multimedia content method to build the brand you want. You're going to get the cold outreach playbook so that you can get leads in any condition, in any environment. You're going to get the paid ads playbook that you can crank with 0 reputation to get more customers. You're going to have the referral playbook that can give you the virality in the business you want that can scale with the highest margins. And you're going to get the affiliate playbook, which allow you to partner with other businesses to get you more leads. and the $0 to $100 million scaling roadmap from someone who's actually been there. Total value $1,276. And I want this to be affordable for everyone, but still an investment. I'm not going to ask for $12,076, even though it'd be totally reasonable and a bargain. I'm not going to ask for $4,997. I'm not even going to ask for $2,997. I'm going to give you access to everything we talked about today for a single payment of it's free. I love you guys. Gotcha. Yes. It's 100% free. All right, it's all yours.
So
as my way of saying thank you for being a part of this movement.
what Alex
So here's my promise to you guys
Hormozi
today.
did.
I can show you how to get strangers to want to buy your stuff.
By the way,
And I want to be
move this to the next slide. What Alex Hormozi did is he single-handedly
clear. The lead getting strategies I share with you today work for real estate, medical.
a new category, right? Basically, in addition to the 3 well-known formats for delivering a book, a physical book, which you hold in your hand, an ebook, which you read on a Kindle or on your phone or your iPad, audiobook. He also introduced a 4th method, which is the book as course. He made it available for free. So if you actually bought his book, actually both his books, the $100 million offers and the $100 million leads, you'll see that in various sections of the book, when he finished one concept, he says, if you want bonus material, click here. So you click from the ebook of it, or in the physical book, it tells you what URL to go to. And you go and you sign up. You don't even have to pay anything. And you see a module of the course, right? So basically, he's turned his book into this multimedia book extravaganza, which, he used a big dramatic launch event to make it look like as though he was going to upsell you into an expensive course. But in reality, he gave it away for free. Why does he do it? Because he has this company called acquisition.com that he wants to see you grow your company with the methods that he's teaching for free, so that then he can go and swoop in and buy your company and add it to his portfolio. But essentially, it's the book as the course, right? So the 4D book method is when you make your book available in the 4 different formats: physical book, ebook, audiobook, multimedia, e.g. a course or a movie. So the course is really ideal for nonfiction books, right? Movies, that's a little bit more of a difficult scenario to get into if you're writing a fiction book, but there are now companies that actually dedicate themselves to scouring all these independent book authors and looking to turn them into movies. In fact, I interviewed a couple of guys out of Colombia who were looking for these Spanish-speaking books, independent book authors, to turn them into movies for Netflix or other kind of things. But anyway, that's essentially what the 4D book method is, and I'm going to get into the details of the 4D book methodology, right? So I alluded to this earlier. The different styles of learning and preferences. I think that one of the things that is so impactful about making your book available, not only in the 3 traditional formats, but also as a course, is that you can really ensure that you hit the 4 learning styles of books. And I'm going to get into some of the details about that. There's actually been scientific studies that talk about the 4 different styles. I'm going to get into sort of some of what I wrote about in my book related to that. But it's also a way of increasing your sales. So if you want to focus exclusively on just book sales, if you give people options to upsell if you want to upsell people, for example, within Amazon on the audiobook, you can double your income. Or if you want to actually charge money for your course as opposed to giving it away for free, you can make a lot more money. And there are people that create these book funnels that do that. Specifically, I'm thinking about marketing gurus. Some of the ways they do that are a little bit cheesy, and and some of their ethics kind of like are a little questionable, but they have these, once you get sent to the thank you page of an ebook, then they're trying to upsell you on a course for $200 and then coaching for $1,000 and then whatever, but you get my drift. So it's great for your funnel. It's great for accessibility and inclusion. I'll get into that in a minute. And it's a great way of engaging your readers. And I have some comments over here. So the D is the 4-dimension, right? So basically, yeah. So Sharon, what I'm talking about is these are the 4 dimensions of a book. If you have a better name, I'm willing to entertain a better name. I was thinking about other names like, the book to the power of 4, whatever. So, I don't know if I'm totally married to this, but anyway, so let's get into, and so this is part of my book called StartupBook. And with StartupBook, I'm really talking about, books that are out there to essentially change the industry, right? So that have had the power to change the industry. And, so I think Sharon, you might have seen this before. The one person that I've seen in history, Peter Drucker from the 20th century, he was probably the 20th century's most impactful marketing thinker. I mean, not marketing thinker, business thinker. He kind of invented the practice of management, with the effective executive and management and a whole slew of other books where he introduced the term knowledge worker and knowledge work and a whole bunch of other terms that didn't exist before he wrote his books, right? So Peter Drucker was one of those very first people in modern history, I would say, that used books. He was a prolific writer, but he used books as a way of designing a new category. Because prior to Peter Drucker, the practice of management was just, whatever a boss decided to do, whether he was a dictatorial boss and was mean and was a command and control kind of boss, or whether the boss was, very collaborative and saw themselves as equal to their employees. It didn't matter. It was very random. There was no rhyme or reason to it. Peter Drucker kind of created the framework, if you will, the guidebook for management, and his principles have been incorporated in some of the top university MBA programs in the United States. And there's been a whole bunch of other books. You have Don Peppers and Martha Rogers as sort of they were the precursors to internet marketing, the one-on-one marketing revolution, which sort of presaged the personalized marketing that we see today, right? And then you had permission marketing, Seth Godin, who I see as really the founder or the godfather of modern marketing today, being able to opt into marketing, being able to get rid of advertising, et cetera, marketing that is so good that you will opt into it, right? And all these books, what I'm trying to do here is to show that all these books were game changers. All these books introduced new vocabulary, established new frameworks. It got people to start thinking in new paradigms, right? So these are paradigm shifting books. Then you had inbound marketing. I'm going to talk a little bit more about inbound marketing as part of the 4D strategy that that HubSpot implemented. But they introduced inbound marketing. It's not that they invented the practice that inbound marketing encapsulated. The inbound marketing strategies and tactics were already there. They just put it together in a framework and put a name to it and applied it to B2B marketing. Okay. Solution selling, positioning, customer success, another book written by a software company. These were the founders of Gainsight. They decided that they were going to sort of invent the practice and category of customer success. There was already customer success going on prior to them doing that, but they kind of became the category kings or queens of this new category by naming and claiming is the word that the category pirates use. Category pirates they're sort of like the founders of this whole category design space. Christopher Lochhead, Eddie Yoon, Nicholas Cole. They encapsulated the whole vocabulary around category design, and one of the terms they use is name and claim. So companies like HubSpot named and claimed inbound marketing. Gainsight named and claimed customer success, all through books, as well as the whole 4D book process, which I'm going to get into over here, right? And so one of the great things about making your book available in multiple formats, first of all, is the ability to really get your learning to stick with people, right? And so I actually really identify with what Alex Hormozi said. What I did was I basically humanly transcribed this. I didn't even use ChatGPT for this part. I humanly transcribed what Alex Hormozi said in a video. When I really want to study a book, I buy multiple versions of the book. I usually buy the ebook, the physical book, the audio book, because I like to consume it in multiple different ways, ideally at the same time. So, you're going to see in a few slides, this whole Whisper Sync Kindle narration thing that Amazon introduces. So if you ever struggle to stay focused and you read, the easiest hack in the entire world is to put headphones on with the audiobook of the book you're trying to read in front of you and listen to the words as you read, because the audio will keep you on pace and it will store the information in 2 parts of your brain. I would say even 3 or 4 different parts. But what do I know? I'm not a neurologist, but I'll show you what I mean in a minute. And when you do that, you learn faster, read faster, and ultimately I think you'll enjoy it more. Okay. Yes, 4D, do, defer, delegation, delete, new categories and terms. Yes. Thank you, Sharon. All right. So let's look at book form factors. So we're all familiar with the, and there's something kind of wonky about the slideshow mode that I over here. Okay. We're all familiar with the tried and true physical book, the one that you can carry with you, the kind of dog-eared one that you've written in, that, that's sort of like, that has that kind of gives you that same comfort as a what do you call it? A teddy bear or one of those fluffy animals that you take to bed with you. That's like, it's your old friend. You can kind of go back and look at your notes from when you were a kid or many years ago. There's just something very nostalgic, very comfortable about a physical book. This sort of like the typical image of you sitting in a comfortable chair with a book lamp by you at night, reading and getting you ready for bed, right? So physical books are here to stay, no matter how modern and digital things get. I don't see physical books going away anytime soon, if ever, right? Actually, nowadays there's this thing about the old is new again. I mean, people are trying to kind of doubling down on physical books. Lulu.com is a book self-publishing platform that focuses almost exclusively on physical books, although they also format your books for e-commerce. But a lot of people now, independent authors, are wanting to sell their books independent of Amazon so they can keep 100% of the royalties, and they're selling it on their own platforms. And Lulu.com is sort of like their friend in their corner, right? And nothing like the beauty of having a library full of books. In fact, you can see in my blurred out background that I have a bunch of books in my background, right? So if you go to somebody's house and they have a bookshelf full of books, you kind of think, wow, that's an intellectual person there. All right. And then there's ebooks. This is my favorite kind. And, people buy Kindles. I just like to download the Kindle app onto my phone. Instant gratification. If you don't want to wait for the Amazon or whoever delivery person to bring it to you, even tomorrow, even if they bring the book to you tomorrow or even this afternoon, now you have same day delivery. If you want the book right now, if you want instant gratification, that's what ebooks are great for. Carry it in your pocket. I have a whole library of books on my phone, and it's great for, reading wherever you are, whether you're on the couch, where you're in bed, sitting on the toilet, whatever, you got your ebooks with you. And then audiobooks. Audiobooks are great, for basically going on the run. So I like listening to audiobooks when I'm driving, especially in Austin, Texas, where I spend half of my time, where the driving distances are pretty long. And, instead of wasting 30 minutes just listening mindlessly to some radio talk show or music, I just pop on a podcast or an audiobook and listen, and it's great. Right. And then, now thinking about inclusion, audiobooks are also great for people who are, for who sight is not a thing. Right. So, in fact, we did a book introduction of an audiobook here in Mexico recently, which was specifically aimed, at blind people. Right. But and then I'll get into that in a minute about the reciprocity, scarcity, authority. But I wanted to sort of read a few of the excerpts from my book, the chapter on my book about the 4D book method. And I want to get into sort of some of the learning advantages of having your book made available in different formats. Okay, so where is that section of the book? Okay, here we go. Okay. All right, so I think it is. Okay, here we go. So the VARC model, have any of you all heard about the VARC model? Anybody that's here on the call? Okay, so the VARC model is a framework that categorizes learners into 4 distinct types, right? So, and these are kind of scientifically proven that, there are certain people that actually learn better one way or another, right? So there's the visual learners. These are the individuals that learn best through visual means. They prefer images, diagrams, charts, maps. These are the people that are perfect people for the course, right? So book as course, right? And it kind of goes perfect with the kinesthetic learners, right? So kinesthetic learners are learners that are hands-on. They learn best through experience and doing, right? So when you offer your book as course, if you're trying to introduce a new concept out into the marketplace of ideas, introduce a new term, introduce a new category, what you want to do is you really want to make that learning to stick. And course in the book as course are perfect because you can use images, diagrams, charts, maps. You can give people exercises to do. You can get them to brainstorm and participate, write, do something, etc., and then upload the learning into the course platform and have maybe the course supervisor evaluate it, right? And then there's auditory learners. Auditory learners, they favor learning through listening. This is why making your book available as an audiobook is a must these days. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be a voice actor. It could be either your own book, your own voice, and there's actually now voice creation platforms that can essentially emulate your voice. It's actually pretty uncanny. And you give it the text of your book, and it'll instantaneously create the audio for your book, right? But auditory learners are great, right? So lectures, discussions, audio recordings, etc. Then reading and writing learners. I would say I'm kind of like a combination of both. The problem with me with audio is that sometimes I'll space out and I'll have to kind of rewind 30 minutes, 30 seconds, 1 minute, to kind of go over it. But with reading and writing, I read pretty fast and I'm pretty good at retaining things through reading. But I like all 4 formats, right? So let me see what some of the comments are over here. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, so that's one of the big advantages of actually making your book available in the 4 different dimensions of books, is that you can really appeal to the 4 learning styles, audio, visual, audio, so visual, audio, reading and writing, and kinesthetic through the physical books, which kind of appeals to the kinesthetic because you can touch the pages, etc. The ebooks, audiobooks, and then the book is the course. Okay. So, but apart from getting, hitting all the check marks on inclusivity, hitting the check mark on really making sure that your ideas stick because you're hitting all the different learning styles, and also really increasing the engagement, one of the really big advantages, and this is especially if you're looking at the 4D book method as a business development and marketing strategy, is because of some of the 6 persuasion elements described by Robert Cialdini in his book, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. Anybody here read this book at all? Okay, I'm sure that, yeah. Okay, so in the book, I'll just kind of like give you a brief. Let me see what people are saying over here. All right, Sharon says yes. Vicky says yes. I'm thinking that maybe Dennis, you've probably read this book, right? So just brief overview for those, not to kind of hash over stuff that you've already that are already intimately familiar to you. Reciprocity, obviously, if you're generous and you give something to somebody first, people are more likely to give back to you. So that's one of the great things about publishing a book and not holding back on all the information, kind of like those family secret recipes that you have or that your company has, not holding back, giving it all away, right? The whole thing about scarcity, putting deadlines and making limited items, limited numbers of items available, authority. A book obviously sets you up as an authority in the space when you speak authoritatively and in detail, because a book allows you to provide lots of detail. You become the authority in the space. Okay, Dennis says yes. Commitment and consistency is what I wanted to talk about here in more detail, but liking and social proof. I talk about using AI to help you write the book, but you really got to go in and sort of like enhance the AI with your own personality, with your own voice, etc. Because your own voice, your personality, your anecdotes, your little stories, your little turns of phrase, it has to be your own. People need to kind of get to know you as an author and to like you and trust you. And then there's the whole thing about social proof, which is the topic for another webinar, which I'm going to do, which is launching your book. Social, part of the secret sauce to doing a successful book launch is getting a ton of reviews on your book before launch day, right? Or on launch day. Wow, you got 50 reviews on Amazon already. God, you must be doing something right. If all these people like your book, especially if they're like between 5 and 4 stars. If you get 50 reviews and they're all 1 or 2 stars, then that might not be so good. But anyway, commitment and consistency. The 40 book method is perfect for this. So because commitment and consistency is that kind of way of sort of getting people on the funnel and increasingly buying more and more expensive stuff, right? So commitment is, you buy something small. Maybe you buy a book, right? We're talking about books. You spend $1 on the book on launch week, or you spend $9.99 on a book. You're probably more likely to buy something else from the author if they offer you, maybe a $39 more detailed ebook exclusively available only on their website and not on Amazon. And then you're probably because you want to stay, you're committed already. You're kind of already committed to that person, and it's part of your identity. You want to be consistent with that identity, and your identity is, hey, I'm a fan of this person. I agree with their ideas. Their ideas resonate with me. I kind of see myself reflected in the book. I want to be consistent with that image, and that's an actual psychological principle that using the 4D book method. And I'll show you about this. Let me see if I have it in the next slide. Right. So we've all seen the guru path, right? So it's just kind of funny how so many marketing gurus, consulting gurus, etc., sort of use this book-led path, right? So I don't know who this guy is. I think that's one of his books. And the guru will make their book available in physical, ebook, audiobook formats, right? But and I recently bought a book myself. I didn't even buy it on Amazon. I bought it directly from his website. He was advertising his book on Instagram using Instagram advertising. His name is Michael something or other. His company's called Peaceful Profits. Okay. And I bought his book, I bought the .mobi version of the book, which is something that you can actually upload to your Kindle e-reader or your Kobo reader or your Google reader or Apple book reader. So I bought the book, and then throughout the book, he gave you several opportunities to kind of download a worksheet, and you enter your email address, etc. And then the email said, oh, by the way, if you like this book, you might be interested in this, and having a phone call with us and helping us so that we can help you write your book. Very meta. It was a book about writing a book. But that's typical of the guru path, right? So the guru, after the book, they might offer you through emails, if there's different ways for people to use books inside the book. Says, hey, download this worksheet or download this bonus offering, right? This video, etc. You give them your email address, and then they're sending you additional information, such as, sign up for my online course. And then they're offering you, after the online course, then, oh, there's personal online one-on-one coaching. So progressively, doubling down on this whole commitment and consistency principle, psychological principle, they're upselling you. And the reason and the way they're upselling you is that they're getting you immersed into their universe, into their way of thinking, because the book gets you to agree. It gets you to, like, the sales pitches where, in sales training, they tell you, get them to agree to something. So they start nodding their head. And then they started growing to something that's even bigger and bigger and bigger. It's the same thing digitally with a book and then an online course and then online coaching. And then eventually they're selling you a done for you service. Okay. So that's the guru path. Where did I find this book? Are you talking about this book right here? I don't know. I just found this. This is a random image I found on Google. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but I just wanted to have a picture of a.
No, I thought you were talking about a specific book. I was looking it up for Amazon, the Guru Path. You said you loaded something onto your.
Oh yeah, no, the guru path is it's just a term that I use to describe how marketing and business consulting people, what they do to upsell you. They get you hooked with a book, and then they'll upgrade you to a course, and then they'll sell you on one-on-one coaching, and then they'll sell you on a done for you service or a mastermind. They sell you progressively more expensive stuff, and it all starts with a little $9.99 book, right? So, and that's all part of the commitment and consistency thing. Okay. So if a marketing consultant can do it, what about a software company or any other kind of company out there, right? So I'll give you a perfect example of this. Sangram Vajre. Sangram Vajre was one of the 3 co-founders of a software company called Terminus. Sangram Vajre was the CMO of Terminus, and they established themselves in the account-based marketing space. Sangram Vajre actually was very brilliant. He invented this new term called flip my funnel, right? And so he took the classical sales funnel and he flipped it on its head and said, okay, instead of, adding a bunch of leads to the top and then winnowing them down and we filter out the people who are not ready yet or don't have the budget, and eventually we get at the very bottom, at the tiny little bottom, we have somebody who's ready to buy, they have a budget and their timeline is perfect. They have some urgent thing they want to thing. Instead, they talk about, okay, let's put the little end, the pointy part of the funnel on the very top, because what we're going to do in account-based marketing is we're going to identify exactly who we want to sell to first. The 10 or 100 people that we want to sell to, we do pre-advertising to them, we send them dimensional gifts, etc. And then, so he invented this phrase, flip my funnel, and he wrote 3 books about it, right? So the Guru Path. So and it's interesting what Terminus does. It wasn't exactly this sort of neat progressive path, but I'll show you that in a minute. I'll explain to you what he did. But his books are available in these 3 different formats. And then they have this thing called ABM University. So you can go in and learn all about account-based marketing through the Terminus ABM University. These are not available for free. They actually charge $499 for it. And then you'll buy Terminus software, right? So Terminus software is sort of like the end result of all these things. At the same time, you can also go to their annual Flip My Funnel conference or some of the regional conferences they do at Flip My Funnel. Okay. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Right. So, and that's pretty much the same thing that the founders of HubSpot did. So the founders of HubSpot, Brian Halligan and Dharmesh Shah, they wrote the book Inbound Marketing, right? And as a result of inbound marketing, they introduced a bunch of new terms, they coined the phrase inbound marketing. Then they started consistently blogging on the inbound marketing on the HubSpot website. They actually also had a website called Inbound. And then they also did the annual Inbound conference, and they have a bunch of courses. So let me see here. Let's kind of look at progressively what each one of these software companies did. So you have Inbound Marketing by Brian Halligan and Dharmesh Shah. And then you have all the courses and certifications that are part of the whole HubSpot Academy. And these are also that you can become an expert. The whole certification thing is a prestige thing. So if you think about marketing, what is the deep desire that people always have? There's always a surface desire. Oh, I want to cut costs. I want to increase profitability. I want to do this and that and the other. But if you really think about it, that sort of deep psychological yearning that almost everybody has, and that marketers very cleverly appeal to, is sort of like the prestige factor. That's why Rolex and Tesla are so popular, because they're prestige products. And having a certification, going through a course and having a certification, and having that badge on your LinkedIn profile, or having it on your PowerPoint presentation if you want to become, for example, a HubSpot certified partner, that's a prestige factor. So that's another aspect of this whole 4D book method when you offer your book as a course. Or in this case, if you want to have people, certified as a HubSpot, as an inbound marketing official partner, you give them a certification, right? So then you look at another situation, another example, customer success. This is a book written by the founders of Gainsight. And then after the book, you go into you buy the software, and you also offer them courses. Again, here we have certifications, and we have training about how to be a good customer success person. Okay. Another example, I've showed you the example of Sangram Vajre. He's been he's a 3-time author now. ABM is B2B, then the account-based marketing for dummies, et cetera. And then they have the Flip My Funnel University. And even, smaller software companies. You have Sahil Lavinia, who is the founder of Gumroad. He wrote this book called The Minimalist Entrepreneur. And then here he has the Minimalist Entrepreneur course, right? And this is also that you can become a better creator, not just a TikTok creator or whatever, but you can actually create products like courses or books or whatever, and sell them on the Gumroad platform, right? So I think this is a strategy. Once you think about this whole 4D concept, you can't unsee it, and you see the patterns everywhere, and you kind of look for it. And all these software companies, and I'm sure this is just scratching the surface, Salesforce.com does this to perfection. I think Mark Benioff has written a couple of books, and of course they have they have Dreamforce, which is probably the biggest software conference in the world, and then they have all these courses available for Salesforce. So it's a great model. Okay, so let's get back into the slideshow. Now, there's some things that I wanted to get into. I just wanted to know, first of all, if we have any questions at the moment from the friends here that are available. Okay. And if you have questions, please feel free to either put it in the chat or, even, interrupt me. But, so here we have an audiobook, right? Available on Audible. But I think one of the coolest things out there, let me see if it's, hopefully you can hear the video or hear the audio. One of the coolest things out there is the immersion reading. So it's the Kindle narration, which kind of goes to what that Alex Hormozy quote that I had earlier, that ability to sort of integrate reading and listening at the same time to sort of increase your memory, your memorization, or to increase the learning, to activate several parts of your brain. This is just an example. Tell me who here uses this. I know I use it.
And thirdly, I hope in return, I've taken one small step to earning the thing that I value most from you, your trust. Finally, I hope this book creates a small dent in improving the world, because I believe no one is coming to save us. It's up to us as entrepreneurs to innovate our way into a better world. And that's something I'm willing to devote my life to. And I hope you are. So
I love this because it helps to, like Alex said in that quote earlier, it helps to really enhance your learning. But it's also great so that if you're reading the book, at your kitchen table, and then all of a sudden you got to go pick up the kids from school, or, you got to go pick something up from the store, you can then, the audiobook can then take over and pick up where it left off. Then when you finish driving and you come back home, you go back and, the last place that you were listening to, now the Kindle book is perfectly in that same place. So it's beautiful.
And thirdly, I hope.
So for example, here's a book available as part of the Kindle Unlimited program. So, you paid $10.81 a month to be able to have access to all these Kindle Unlimiteds. You can download all these books for free. It doesn't leave a lot of money for the author. But then once you've said, yes, I want to read this book for free, then there's a little upsell. right? So buy the audiobook. And so it's so funny because I think that a lot of these books get me that same way. So I'll actually go and buy a book, or I'll borrow a book using the Kindle Unlimited function. And then there's the audiobook available as a Kindle narration that I'll buy for $7.49. So the people now then who made their book available on Kindle Unlimited and are not making a lot of money are then able to upsell you and make some money using the audiobook. And
thirdly, I hope in
so that is it. And these are just examples of software that you can use to format your book. Atticus is one that my wife and I have bought for our business. And if you're not well versed in InDesign, I know Sharon is gonna pinch my ear if I talk about this, but for those of us who are not designers, we can go to a platform like Atticus and format our book very easily, right, for uploading to Kindle. Anyway, this is the software. So if you go to audi.com, this is a software where you can actually use AI to convert your book into an audiobook. So this is revolutionizing things. I think that Amazon, or Audible through Amazon, at one point had put a restriction on having audiobooks that were actually narrated by AI, but there are now AIs that are a lot more accurate when it comes to actually creating a voice and making a voice sound just like you. Okay. Does the 4D method work for business other than software, like a hard product production facility? Yes. So I'm gonna answer your question, Vicky. Yes, I see this working for a lot of things. So for example, I don't know if this would necessarily work for one of those impulse buy items, but for example, there's an ice cream company called Jenny's. I think it's Jenny's Ice Cream. They're out of Ohio or something, which they're brilliant because they have delicious ice cream. It's kind of similar to Amy's ice cream, but she makes ice cream recipes available as a nice, beautiful coffee table hardcover book. And she also teaches you how to make ice cream at home and how to make ice cream desserts through YouTube videos. And I can just picture her actually offering a course similar to what, Home Depot does. Home Depot is a perfect example of a company that could implement the 4D book method, because what they already offer courses. I mean, if you go in the lobby of Home Depot, you go in and you see all the different courses, how to build the deck, how to do this and that and the other. I mean, they could write books about this, right? They could write books, make the books available as courses, the courses book, etc. So yeah, it's totally available. Now, let me see what some of the other questions are. Can you get audiobooks instead of Kindle? Yeah, so you can get audiobooks. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could download the Audible application and just listen to it. I mean, for those books that are available as a Kindle narration, you don't have to go with the Kindle narration. I mean, the audio of those books are also available as standalone audiobooks using the Audible app, right? Audi.com, do we need to, okay. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And hey, good to see everybody. Dennis Hall, Dennis, I told everybody that my ex-boss was gonna show up, and surely you did. So that's exciting. Dennis was my sales manager when I worked for Pervasive Software as a salesperson. And actually that's when I started my whole blogging career. So I was selling, but I also started a blog about selling integration for business. Anyway, any additional questions about the 4D book method? And thank you for thanking me, Vicky. I appreciate it. I enjoy sharing this, and it also helps to, doing these webinars also helps to clarify my own ideas and to go back and kind of enhance what I've written in the book. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate it. All right, Dennis, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So if I don't have any questions, let's basically conclude the webinar today. And I thank you so much. And again, I just wanted to ask for your support And I know, Vicky, you're writing a book, so I'll be out there in your corner supporting you on launch day. But I wanted to ask your support when it comes to when I launch my book the end of February, beginning of March. I'd love for you all to be, what do you call them, beta buyers or the initial buyers. I think I'm going to be using the Kindle 5 days free program to make my book available as a Kindle for free on those first 5 days. So if you guys could grab your copy when I tell you it's launch week, I would so appreciate it. And then if you could leave a review, that would be fantastic too, because the Amazon algorithm says basically the more reviews it gets, the more people it'll expose the book to. So I would appreciate all y'all's help in that regard. So thank you very much. And oh yeah, Sharon reminded me of something. I'm actually giving a talk about my book at a meetup on Wednesday. Is it the 7th of February, Sharon? Yeah, February 7th at the Capital Factory, 6:30 p.m. I think it's the Devi room
It is in the Devi room.
Okay.
It's Devi room. You need to promote it. You need to tell people. I'll be promoting it more. Hey, Vicky,
Yeah.
if you're around, you should come. Anyways.
Yeah, Sharon is my co-organizer for the meetup that we run called the Marketing Automation and AI Meetup. We meet every month.
Capital Factory.
Capital Factory, the first Wednesday of every month. We have some great speakers. We've had Julia McCoy. We've had a whole bunch of people who are just experts at applying AI to marketing. And I'm going to be one of the speakers at my own. Will it be available virtually as well? Yeah, I mean, so first of all, I'm getting my daughter is a videographer, and she has said, yes, Papa, I'll film you that day. Even though I'm flying to Japan the next day, I'll do it for you. So she actually is going on her belated honeymoon the next day, the 8th of February, to Japan. But she's committed to filming me, and then and live streaming. Capital Factory does actually have a live stream.
Yeah, they live stream. They do live stream, Vicky. We could send you the link. But unfortunately, it doesn't always work well. And our last meetup, the sound, you couldn't even hear it from the live stream because they had a glitch. So I'll send you the link.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Very good. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias.
All right.
Bye-bye. And enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.